Okay. Hey guys, everyone, welcome to our chat. We're waiting to plug Danielle into the call. Hey.
Hello, how are you?
Great. How are you?
Doing wonderful, thank you. Excited to be here.
Yes, so excited. So we're just gonna wait a couple more minutes, let a few more people show up as Instagram is notifying everyone about our event. So excited to everyone who's joining in today. If you want to share where you're watching from, that would be kind of fun to see what states you're in. I'm in Washington State and Danielle's all the way in North Carolina. So we would love to hear where you guys are from as well. So Danielle, how's your day been so far?
My day has been wonderful. So I put a garden in today.
Oh, how fun. That's awesome.
Yes, I've been prepping it. My husband's been helping me, and today I was able to plant everything. And so I'm excited for what that's going to look like this year. My hand in a garden has not always been the best, but I'm starting this year with a fresh outlook, and I'm going to take good care of it. That's what I do now.
That's awesome. I love it. Yeah, the weather's been so gorgeous here. Looks like we have someone else from North Carolina, and then I think I saw Mississippi on there. So welcome, everyone. I'm
Awesome.
just going to go ahead and dive into today's event. I've been so excited. We are having our special Instagram live that is all about building your tribe. So whether you are an author, a singer, a songwriter, a blogger, a businesswoman, whether you have an Etsy shop, whatever it is that you do and you want to connect with more people and share the special, unique gifts that God has given you, then this call is going to be perfect for you because we have lots of wonderful things to share with you guys when it comes to building your tribe. And also towards the end of our call, we're going to be doing a special giveaway, which I'm excited about. I'm actually going to be giving away one of my favorite marketing books. And so since this is about connecting with your tribe, I thought that'd be something really fun to do. So if you stick around until the end of our live, we're going to open it up for questions and answers. And so anyone who asks a question is going to put into the drawing at the end to get a free marketing book. So stick around, it's going to be lots of fun. But for those of you who don't know Danielle, perhaps you've just been following me for a while and you're just hopping on and you don't know who Danielle is, would you like to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure. So my name is Danielle Roback, and I have been married for 30 years, and I have three children and I have a son-in-law and a daughter-in-law, and I have a grandbaby on the way. And so, yes, I'm so excited, and it's pretty neat to have a little grandbaby coming and being able to pray for that little one and already love him like he's here. It's amazing.
That's awesome.
That has been a very good for the last 9 months. She's due soon. So very excited.
Awesome.
And yeah, go ahead.
Oh, very cool. Well, I just saw a comment from someone saying they're not going to be able to stick around till the end. So I wanted to share with you guys. If you go to the link in my bio, I actually have a link where it will put you onto my mailing list so that after this live is over, hopefully tomorrow, if you missed part of it, we'll be able to record it and send it to you guys. So if you have to leave early for some reason, you can watch the replay if you go sign up at the link in my bio. So that's a good way to make sure that you don't miss anything towards the end. But
yes.
Yeah.
So, I also have a ministry called Ignited Hearts that is located here in North Carolina. And then I have a business as well that is connected to the marketplace. So I have my hands in quite a few different things, and all revolving around people. For sure. And so those are a couple of things that I'm doing right now.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And I think one of the reasons I thought that you would be perfect for this this Zoom call, or on Zoom, we're not on Zoom, we're on Instagram Live. I've been on all these different platforms. I'm like, who knows where we are on Instagram here, is because when I first met you, I thought you were such a connector. You just have a natural gift. You're such a people person. And I know that your heart is to bring people together. And I feel like you have such a gift for building your tribe. I feel like you've done an incredible job building your business as well as just building your ministry and just encouraging and loving on women, because I know that's your passion of your heart. I know that's where your heart is and that's what God's called you into. But I'm curious, has this always been your personality? Like, were you just born coming out of the womb ready to connect people, or is this something that you grew up into later in life after walking with the Lord?
Well, thank you. That is very kind of you to recognize that. And I would say that it was something that God put in me, and something that I've always enjoyed doing. I've been a people person always. I've always loved to hear people's stories and see what they're about and really listen to people. But I do have to say that I had to cultivate that when it went from before I really knew the Lord, it was just working out of a natural thing of what I would do. And it wasn't so intentional. But then as I got to know who I was and got to know the Lord, and he walked me through so much healing and awakened my heart, then the desire and the passion became even larger, because I wanted other women to know who they are and their identity. And so then it became something that I knew was the Lord was breathing on to really foster that. And so I would say it's definitely grown, but I've always been one to connect with people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's awesome to hear. Well, I have some questions for you, which I'm really excited to dive into. And for those of you who are just tuning in, we're going to be asking questions at the end as well. So if you guys have any questions for Danielle, I'll be thinking of them in the meantime. That way we can ask her some questions towards the end, so that I'm not the only one who gets to interview her. You guys get to join in on that fun as well. So I've got my little notebook here, so I'm going to pull that out and see.
Okay.
So I guess we'll go ahead and start here. So your profession, like the business side of what you do, I mean, I hate to separate it, because I know that your business
Right.
and ministry are all one and the same. It's all the same unto the Lord. But your actual profession is network marketing. And I know that there are a lot of preconceived ideas about network marketing and what that is and what that looks like, and especially for women in the marketplace, what that means for us as Christians. And so I guess maybe the first thing would just be to debunk any lies or myths or things that are connected to that network marketing reputation. And if you could just share what that actually is and what it means to you.
Absolutely. So I've been in network marketing for 7 years. And honestly, when I came into network marketing, I was introduced through a product that I loved. And because of the incredible transformation I had from within, that's what opens me up to want to share it with other people, because my passion is, if I find something I like, I'm going to share with other people, because when I believe in something, it just comes out. And so honestly, when I first began in network marketing, I was a little fearful of it. And I was also concerned of the stigma or the reputation that it had. And so I really had to myself press into the Lord and ask him if this is the direction that he wants me to go. And when I had my transformation within my health, I already had a passion for a ministry and for women's hearts, actually all hearts, to be ignited. And it was at that time where I had the transformation with the product that I knew that God was bringing those two things together, because we need food and we need nutrition for the body, as we need the word of God for our spirits. And so in that is when I started to look at, okay, I love people and I love to share. And if I believe in something that's helped me and it's changed my life, then I can't keep it quiet, because it's a gift that helped me. And it's then I want to share with the ones I love. And so that's how it began. And in that, I had to, coming from the passion of why I love to introduce people to network marketing, in that place, I really began to grow in who I was and understanding the why of why I was doing the network marketing. Mm-hmm. And I fell madly in love with the concept of network marketing, because it is somewhere that everyone starts at a level place. Like, it doesn't matter what education you have. It doesn't matter where you've gone to school, maybe what learning disabilities. It's a level playing field for everybody. And so therefore the network marketing, when I stepped into it, I knew that I could do this and I could help other people also do this with the same kind of passion and why that they're doing it. So through the network marketing, I have grown in ways that I don't believe I would have grown otherwise. In my ministry, I've grown one way, but then, when you're in a business and you really come up against challenges, obstacles, pressing through perseverance, it's a whole different thing. And so now bringing the both together has just been incredible for the wholeness of what God's called me to do.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I love it. And that's cool because when we first connected, you were very excited about the products that had come into your lives, and you just had such an incredible transformation that naturally it didn't even feel awkward for you to share with me, because you were like, because we were talking about health things, and that's something that's so important to me, is putting healthy nutrition in your body and taking care of the temples that God has given us. And that's something that you're passionate about as well. So when we connected on that topic, it was just very natural for you to be like, hey, I don't know if this is going to interest you or not, but this is what happened in my body, and this is the transformation I saw. And so after hearing your story, I was like, this sounds great. I would love to try it. And so I love that it really is something that's just so natural. Like, I feel like a lot of times we can overcomplicate things or think, oh goodness, I'm building a business, and so now I have to get into sales. And, we can make it really weird when honestly it's like you go to see a movie and you love it. Like, imagine if you went to the movies and then you go tell your friends, and the movie theater paid you for telling your friends about how much you love the movie. And so that's really, I think, a good example of what network marketing is, because it's just sharing, just like you share your favorite books and movies. And so I think that's really cool.
The other thing I love about network marketing is that it allows you to design your day. And so for where I am in my life, I have much that I want to do through God's work and through my ministry and meeting and discipling and mentoring people. And so network marketing allows me to design my day, and it also gives me the opportunity to work with people that I choose to work with. And that in that place, it all comes back to who someone is, who their identity is, and being able to use network marketing as a bridge or as a vehicle to come into somebody's life that maybe I wouldn't have been in their life. And because of that connection, it allows us to bring this relationship forward. And through that, it allows it provides the opportunity to really see who they are and speak into their destiny and their purpose. And that's one of my favorite things about network marketing.
Definitely. Well, you've been able to touch so many people that you normally might not have ever branched out to try to connect with. And so, yeah, I love that. That's definitely been a huge example in my life, and such an encouragement, is how you're always pouring into others. And I know even on our last Instagram live that we did, I got so many messages afterwards of people just sharing how encouraged they were just to know that someone like you exists, like just to see that example of a godly woman pursuing the things that God has placed inside of her heart boldly and without shame and without fear. And that, I think that just really encourages people to see that example. So thank you for that.
Oh, thank you. So did that answer your question, or did you have more about debunking the myths about network marketing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Covers it pretty good. Yeah. That was
okay. Okay. Well, good. And it absolutely, is the who you're connected with. And I know for me and my team, bringing in the purity and the wholeness of integrity through our businesses is so important. And so I think that network marketing can get a bad taste for that reason, that it's not being done with integrity and it's not being done in a pureness. And creating that environment is just so important to me to keep that, in the stream of the tribe.
Yeah, absolutely. So good. I love it. All right. So my next question. Oh, this is a big question. I was trying to even think of how I was going to ask it, because it was like 3 questions in one, but let's see. Okay. So actually this kind of is piggybacking onto the last one, but I don't know if you would even remember this, but I guess the way I'm going to ask it is, what was it about Jesus that really inspired you in seeing how he was networking with people? Like this, I remember this was years ago. You were talking about how you kind of got this revelation that Jesus is a networker, like he just loves people and draws them in. And so I don't know if you want to speak into that at all, or if you had any thoughts on it. It's such a big question. I know you love that topic.
I do love that topic. And it really goes back to disciples and how Jesus went out and about, and he, he found people. He saw their hearts and he saw something in them, and then he drew them to him, and he said, come follow me. He was someone who went about in that time and could connect with the heart of people. And then in that, he, to me, he was the greatest networker because he was connecting with people. He was seeing the very beautiful hearts inside of them. He didn't worry about their behavior and where they were at that time. I think about the disciples that are going through my head, like Peter and Paul, and he didn't look at the behavior of that. He saw their heart and he called them out. And then in that, he fostered and he spoke into them and he edified them and encouraged them and taught them and lifted them up. And in that, these ones then became the followers that went with him everywhere. And when I was thinking about just praying about and reading in the Word of God and thinking, is this okay? Because I'm always taking a step with, is this okay with you, Lord? Are you blessing me in this? Is this part of your plan for my life right now? And when he showed me that, it really just removed the fear out of it. And I'm not doing network marketing to sell something to somebody. I'm doing network marketing so that I can bridge the gap in people's lives and bring identity forward in them and have the opportunity to speak into them. And it just happens to organically be a place where it has provided income so that it is a stream of income so that I can do what I love to do full time and not have to go to a 9-to-5 job. And so through that, and just looking at Jesus's life and what he did through the Gospels, he is the master networker and the master connector, and it's in him. And so if it's in him, it's in us.
Amen. Absolutely. Yeah, that's so good. I love it. So I know that some of our viewers are, maybe they're bloggers or authors, or they're working on growing their Instagram platform, and they might be thinking, okay, you're talking about networking, but how does that apply to what I'm doing? And the thing that's really awesome about networking is it applies to anything. It applies to evangelism. It applies to if you have a Bible study and you want to invite people to it. If you have a blog and you're inviting people to check it out, it's really just connecting with the hearts of people. And that is when we're using the phrase networking. To me, that's really what it means. Yeah. And so what have your networking experiences been like? Like if there's someone who's maybe building a blog or a Facebook page or just something that they have online that they're trying to connect with people, any advice, practical tips, things that you've learned along the way that you could share?
Yes, absolutely. So in building any kind of environment or any kind of community, people need to feel safe, number one, in it. And in that, people feel safe when we're authentic and we're real. And so when building any network, it's so important to not become an echo of somebody else, to stay true to who you are and really understand why you're doing what you're doing, what's motivating you to do the blog, to do the Etsy shop, to do, the network marketing, to do whatever kind of community. What is the actual motivation behind why you're doing it? And that is really important, because in that why, if you stay in that place and you deliver your content or you deliver your message through that why that's authentic and it's real and it is full of love, then it's going to create a safe environment where people want to connect with you, and they're going to feel the desire to be drawn to you because they see something in you that they want to see in themselves. So they see something in you that is something they aspire to be in, maybe, and they want to stay connected because you're giving them a positive outlook and you're speaking to their hearts and their identity. And so in creating that environment, whatever it is, that's what I would say. But number one is, don't become someone's echo. You know, God's put giftings in you, and he's put a heart in you, and he's put dreams and passions in each one of us. And when we truly ask him and connect to that place in our heartstrings for the passion and the belief why we're doing what we're doing, that why will drive you. And that needs to be the first place of creating your environment and your community. Otherwise, it won't stand.
Right. Yeah, that's really good. I love that. So here's a question for all of you who are watching. If you just want to share in the comments, do you have a why? What is your why? And even if you maybe want to share, if you already know what it is, you can just type up your quick why and let us know why you're doing what you're doing. And maybe if you don't know, now's the time to start thinking about it, start praying about it, because that really is so foundational to know your why. Otherwise, you are kind of just shooting arrows in a bunch of different directions and not really focused on the target. So I love that. That's really great advice. So,
and it also, Libby, that why builds a confidence in, you as an entrepreneur or as a business person. And when you have that why, and you're allowing that why to keep you in the lane, then, there's a confidence that comes in you because you know what you're doing, and other people want, they'll follow someone who has a vision and it's plain to see, and they know where they're going and what they're doing, and it's full of passion and belief. People can get on board with that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so good. Love it. Awesome. Okay, so let's see. So many questions. I'm just trying to narrow down. Are you guys enjoying this? Let me know. Send little hearts. Let us know if you're enjoying. Let's see. Okay, so something that I've been learning about in my own just reading books, and like I said, I love marketing books. That's why we're going to be giving one away at the end of the call, just because I love them, and hopefully you guys enjoy them as well. But something I've been learning about is creating your ideal avatar. And so basically what that means is there's a lot of different phrases for it. Some people call it your target customer, your target audience, or your dream client, or your dream customer. So basically just thinking about whoever it is that your products or services are for, and just knowing this person so well and creating a character of sorts that is often referred to as an avatar. And so that's something that I have done that's what I did when I started Crown of Beauty. That's what I did with my blog, and that's what I've done with my business as well. And so any advice or thoughts about that for people who maybe are in the process of working on their avatar, or maybe they've never heard of this concept before and they don't really know how to get started with something like that? Because that's, again, another super foundational, great first step to think about.
Yes, absolutely. So in creating your avatar, or your, your person, your people that you want to attract into your tribe, you have to know that you will attract people like yourself.
Yeah.
And so, in that, it's so important to be continually to grow in who you are and becoming the person that you aspire to be. There's always ways to better ourselves and grow. And when you're coming up with your avatar, I can remember sitting on the beach, coming up with my avatar and just thinking about, okay, if I were to really think about who it is that I would like to work with, who it is that I would like to connect with, spend time with, travel with, be on the phone with, be in communication with, what would that avatar look like? And so what would those characteristics be of that person? Would they be middle-aged? Would they be into fitness? Would they have a spunky personality? Would they like fashion? Would they be a family person, have children? And I literally looked at all the things, the qualities that I like about myself and the qualities that I would like to link to somebody else in. And I wrote down that avatar in details. I mean, details right down to, the age of the person, the hair color, the desires, the dreams that person would have. And it really just formed a intentional direction for me in my life, and gave me a way to present myself to other people. And it changed the way of my outlook, instead of, like you said earlier, Libby, just like shooting in the dark. And in a network marketing business, you have the choice of who you get to work with. And remembering who comes into your fold, you're attracting the very characteristics that you carry. So if you're not liking what you're attracting, then really look at yourself and say, okay, what do I need to improve in myself? What podcast do I need to watch? Where do I need to grow? How can I change this? And really be intentional so that in the avatar that you're creating, you are reflecting that person. Because remember, it's a dual thing. They're going to be attracted to who you are and what you carry. And so if you're wanting an influencer and you're wanting someone of high status and very athletic and into health and, creative, then be thinking about, well, what is it that you're walking in and carrying, and why is that what's important to you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really good. I hope you guys are taking notes. That's good stuff. And I love that. I mean, again, I don't know if you guys have read a lot of marketing books, but you will find people saying the same things over and over and over again. It all comes back to exactly what we're talking about right now, knowing your why you're doing this, and then who it is that you want to connect with, and then becoming that person. Like you said, I think that's really good. That's something we can often forget, is that we do attract people that are very similar to ourselves. And so it's interesting to kind of take a step back and reflect and be like, okay, well, who am I attracting? And asking, are those the type of qualities that I would want, in people buying my books, reading my blog, joining my business, whatever it may be. And yeah, so that's really good. I love that. So
good.
All right, so let's see. So this kind of continues on to that question. But something else that I like to imagine as we were talking about Jesus and fishing, I also like to think of marketing and building your tribe as fishing as well. It's just like a visual thing that I do in my head. But basically, there are lots of different fish out there. There's rainbow trout and salmon and just, so many different kinds of varieties. And we're not going to catch all of them. Like, whatever it is that God has placed inside of you, it is very niche. It is very specific. You have a unique gifting and calling, and you're not going to touch the whole world. It's just not the way that God intended it. And so there's something inside of you that's meant to connect with the rainbow trout or the salmon or the goldfish or whatever it is, the people that, God has created you to connect with. And so another thought with that is that different type of fish like different types of bait. They're attracted to different types of snacks. Like some fish like to eat worms. Some fish like the sparkly things that are pretty and flashy. And so I think that that's something that we can also think about while we're building our tribe, is what is going to attract our tribe. Like maybe you love to watch YouTube videos and you love to follow people on YouTube, and you're noticing certain things about their videos that you really like. And that's something that you can look at and be like, oh, maybe I should implement that into my videos. Or whether it's on Facebook or whatever platforms that it is that you enjoy using, it's very, very likely that that is the exact platform or place that you're going to connect with the people that are similar. So I guess I don't really know what my question is for that, but just if you have any thoughts on the bait aspect of, I don't like to use the word bait because it makes it sound a little bit fishy, no joke intended, but it's just kind of like whatever it is that is kind of sort of drawing them in. Like, people talk about having a lead magnet for your email list, or offering something free of value where people come subscribe on YouTube. Like that's why they follow you, because you're giving them free videos and they're like, I love this. And they're watching your videos for free. So that's what I mean by bait. I don't mean anything scammy or anything like that. It's just putting something out there that is letting people know what you have to offer and what you have to share. So how about you on that? What do you think about all of that stuff?
Well, of course, we have all our social media platforms, which are incredible, Instagram and Facebook, and those work great. There's so many ways that you can, like right now I have a 33-day Reset Glow advanced challenge that's starting Sunday, Mother's Day. So around that, we've created stories, we've created a video, we've created ways to bring interest into what we're doing by really blasting the social media with that. I have found for myself, belly to belly. I mean, obviously, right now we can't do that, but I love to talk to people. And if I can't personally talk to them, I find that reaching out through a voice memo is just works so well for me. So even through Instagram, Facebook, it's voice memoing someone who I've watched their platform and I really love their positive attitude or their encouragers. I would love for them to be part of what I'm doing because I genuinely want to be around them and I see things in them that are attractive and positive, and that's the kind of environment that I want. So that is absolutely a way, and I'm sure you all know about that, but a way that I've built two very strong tribes that do go together and coincide, but yet are different, separate, is on Facebook. And I've made groups, and one is Ignited Hearts, and then one is Isa the Pines, which is my business team. And through that, it's delivering content, and it's making it that safe environment. It's inviting people into that and really letting them see the value of content in there and letting them get to know the team, the personalities, my heart through the videos, through the posts, and that kind of thing, and really using that to foster. So for me, that's worked really well. Of course, I have a website, different avenues to come in. But I think for every different person, it's, is it LinkedIn? Is it Facebook, Live? Is it Instagram, story platforms, and really finding what you're comfortable with and then just going with that.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's really good. And yeah, because everyone's so unique and different. And I know sometimes it can feel overwhelming with so many different platforms and so many options. Yeah. But I think also, too, if you can kind of zero in on a couple, like one or two things, if you try to get spread out on everything and try to master everything, it's just not really possible. There's not enough hours to be on top of all those platforms. So yeah, if you can just, find something that you enjoy the most, I think is important too. It's just something that you love. Because if you're not excited about it, if you're not excited to make YouTube videos, don't try to make YouTube videos right now.
Right.
Like if that's not where your heart is, it's not going to be worth it. So yeah, but that's really good. So Kayla, she says, I'm about to leave, but I have a question. So we can go ahead and answer hers, and she's going to rewatch it later in case she's already gone. And so this is a good one. How do you reach more people to check out your blog? How do you expand your blog for more readers? So I don't know. I'm not sure if you've done much blogging because, like you said, you love to connect with people in person, kind of direct them thereafter. But do you have any thoughts about that?
So yeah, I haven't done much with blogging. Like I said, I've just I have a personal web page that is getting going, and on that is going to have blogging. And so in that, reaching out, I love reaching out when you find someone on Instagram, when you find a person that is appealing to you, to shoot them a message and make a connection, reach out and be like, hey, love your page, following you, and start literally start a relationship type thing. And through that, that's where people follow. And if you spend time looking at that and searching out what kind of influencers or people that you want to come to that blog, that I think is the best way, is literally reaching out and messaging them and making that connection, make sure, liking and commenting on their posts on Instagram, being intentional for those ones that you want to connect with, because you may connect with one and then through that person will be a door to open up, for 1,000 other followers. So, looking at the small part instead of the massive and working it like that, that's what I believe is very, very productive. And they get to know you, and that's where people come and they stay.
Yeah, no, that's so good. And I think I love that you shared that, because even with the blogging world, I started my blog back in 2013. So it was a while ago. And of course, the algorithms and lots of things have changed over the year. But bottom line, it's still the same thing. I remember on Twitter, I would go and I would find people that I really enjoyed following, and I would send them messages. And it's funny because one of my best friends I met through Twitter. And and so it's great because if, like you said, if you're just intentional about reaching out to people who are similar, have similar passions, and then that's how a lot of people found my blog in the beginning. There's a lot you can do with like SEO and search engine optimization, and then of course doing guest posts on other people's blogs. That's always a great way to connect, and then their readers find out about you. And the opportunities and the possibilities are really endless. I think with that can also get very overwhelming because there's a lot of different options you could do. But again, just picking something and being diligent with it. And I think I really focused on Twitter probably for the first 3 months. I just intentionally connected with so many people, and I'm still friends with so many of these people even 7 years later, which I think is really special because you just never know when you're reaching out who's going to become those lifelong friends. Someone might just click on your link and check out your blog and be encouraged once and then forget about it. But even that matters. Like every little seed that we sow into people's lives, like it's not in vain, and it's also important. And so, yeah, I think just not despising the small beginnings, like you said, focusing on one person, just loving one person and reaching out to them. So often we can get distracted by the numbers and we want more followers, more readers, more. And oftentimes God is like, I just want you to love this one person. Like you just be faithful with this one person that's reading your blog and treat them like royalty and love them. And then he's just naturally going to bring people and multiply because that's what he does. He loves to do that. So
when you're trusted with little, you'll be trusted with much.
Yes, absolutely.
Got to start somewhere.
So good. Yeah. All right, let's see what other questions we have. And then you guys be thinking of your questions because we're almost to the part where you guys can start asking. Well, I guess if you want to, if it's on your head right now, you can go ahead and stick it in the chat. That way we can see it and start thinking about it. Yeah, so let's see. What else did I have here? Okay, so we've talked quite a bit about our tips and strategies, different things people can try. But at the end of the day, it all comes back to our hearts and it all comes back to what's happening in our minds. And oftentimes we can have everything we need. We have the strategies, we have the marketing books, we know, we've watched the videos, we know how to do this, know how to do that. But sometimes we're just scared to step forward. We're scared to pull the trigger because we have just this negative self-talk happening in our minds. What would you say to that for someone who maybe knows what they should do, or they're feeling God calling their heart into something, but they're just scared and they don't know, they don't want to take that first step? They do, but they don't.
So yeah, I've came up a lot with that, and that fear of being rejected, or that fear of man, or the accusation, or what people are going to say. So many times, it all comes back to fear. And when we empower fear in our lives, then it becomes a giant. And so what I've found is in my life, if there is something that I know God's calling me to do, and I'm afraid to do it, I do it anyways. And I have surrounded myself with a team of people that are encouragers. You're not in this alone. And so it's so important that you have people in your life that can speak kingdom truth into you about who you are and who you've been created to be, and to help you navigate through that self-talk and navigate through that negativity. Because the truth is that the enemy comes to rob, steal, and destroy. He doesn't want you to succeed and to move forward. And Jesus came for life and life abundant. He is in the place of wanting you to prosper in everything, but it's only in the mind of Christ that we can move forward in this. And so with that, if there is negativity, you have the power and the authority inside of you to break up with that fear. And to literally, stop allowing fear to dictate and direct you. And in that place, I love this. I come into the place where I break agreement, because we've all came to that place where there's been fear, and we feel, anxiety and anxious, and how are we going to do this? And we're nervous, and what are we going to say? And I'll never forget this, in the moment where I was like, gosh, I've said, get out of here, fear, so many times. But it was the place that I came into agreement with fear in my heart. And I literally had to say, I break agreement with this fear and repent for any way that I had been living in fear, and ask Jesus to fill that place with his love, and then with him move forward. And so if you're stuck, when you're stuck, it is important that you have your people around you to help you move forward.
Yeah.
And then in that, when you set out to do it, you got to jump. Because if you don't step past the obstacle, that giant will get bigger and bigger and bigger in your life. But as soon as you go through it, even if it's shaky, crying, scared, and you do it, you push the button for Facebook Live, you make that phone call. Every time you're disempowering the enemy in your life and you're connecting with the identity of who you are, strong, courageous, can do anything in Christ. And it's that place where you trample and tread upon those mind games and you move forward. And so I love to help people with that, and I do walk alongside with them and and really encourage and push them. Because if God's told you to do it, then you need to do it, because obedience is where you see victory. It's through the obedience that victory proceeds. It's you already have the victory in Christ. But unless you are a faith walker, a one that is a doer, instead of just one that is I got all this knowledge but don't move. Faith without works is dead, and you're not going to see God's hand on it because He's waiting for you to move.
Yeah. Yep. So good. Yeah. And I love that because, for people who don't know you as well, they can hear you say these things, but this is what you walk out every day. And this is what you pour into the team of people around you, and encouraging people every day. I mean, even me, like, keep moving forward, keep going after it, And so I think that's good what you said about having people around you that will even hold you accountable and say, hey, did you post that blog post? You talked about it 3 months ago. Like, have you done that yet? I think it's important because oftentimes we can say these things, but not really ask people to hold us accountable. So that's a thought too. If there's anyone in your life that you feel like you should do something and you haven't done it yet, say, hey, will you hold me accountable in this? Will you check up on me in like a week and make sure that I've done this thing? Because having accountability partners really helps keep you moving forward. So.
And that should be part of your tribe. You're building if you're building a platform, or you're building an Etsy, or you're building a network marketing, you too have to have your strand of three. You have to have your tight circle that knows you, and you've given permission to hold you accountable. And that this tight circle is so authentic that it's all about every person walking to the fullness potential of who God's created them to be. And so it's really important that you're not a lone ranger, and that you really foster that and start praying about, okay, who's in my circle? Who is my inner circle? And to, connect with that. And that's going to really help you move forward in all the possibilities that God has for you.
Yeah. Amen. So good. I love it. Awesome. Okay, so we're getting a couple questions, so I guess we'll go ahead and answer their questions. And Alex, if you're watching, she's my little assistant. She's awesome. She was going to write down people's names to ask questions. So if you're here, I think I saw you here. So anyway, if you could do that, that would be wonderful. That way everyone's names are entered who are asking questions. And even if you ask a question, we don't get a chance to answer it, you will still be entered into the giveaway. So we'll go ahead. And I think Addie had a question, and I'm not sure, maybe you could clarify this question if you're still here. How do you decide which business venture you wanted to pursue? I think you meant how did you, just to clarify, because I don't want to, I think that's what she meant. How did you decide? Like, personally, not for yourself. Or I'm not sure. I guess what I'm asking, Addie, is this a question that you're asking Danielle, or is this a question that you're saying, how am I supposed to decide? Because I'm not sure which one you meant. So we'll come back to that. If you just want to clarify, that would be awesome. We'll go ahead and answer Victoria's question. She says, what is a good way to reach out to people through messages without being awkward? And how do you continue the conversation and relationship after the initial messages?
That's a great question. So what I do, like, if there's someone that I'm interested in, say there's a speaker who I just, I've seen her speak and I love her personality and the way she does it, I would voice message her and say, hey, my name is Danielle. I've been watching your Instagram. I love your videos and the energy that you have, and I would love to hear your story.
That's good.
I say that all the time when I'm connecting, that I would love to hear your story. Can we chat? And through that, I have never yet had someone that has not responded.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So, so it's important, I'm not trying to sell something. I want to get to know somebody. And, in that, when you do the voice memo, they're going to hear your heart. And it's okay, Addie, to write out a script. It's okay to like print out what you want to say. And then, then you're reading it on your voice message and you've had time to write it out. And then you're reading it where it's not feeling like you're reading it because it's your heart, but you're in a direction and it's not so like, there's a flow to it. And just genuinely think, why do you want to connect with this person? If I see someone that is doing what I aspire to do and I love how they're doing it, then hearing their story, how they got to that point, totally is so inspiring to me. And I really want to know, because I love the whole story about how God's brought someone from, this point in their life to now this point in their life. And they're, doing massive changes in people's lives because of the journey and the process.
Yeah, that's good. I love that. And what's fun is you had mentioned a couple weeks ago about sending people voice messages, and I had never done that before. And I was like, that's kind of scary. I'm like, I really like texting. And so it was kind of a challenge for me of like, okay, I'm going to start doing this voice message thing. And it's been fun because I've been doing that on Instagram and connecting with people. And I've also, people that I wasn't reaching out to, I've noticed in the past couple weeks have been sending me voice messages as well. And so it's kind of fun because when I see someone's message just in my inbox, sometimes I'll like look at it real quick and not really take the time to read it. But if you have a voice message, it comes in and it's super mysterious. It's like, what is the, it's like, it has this sense of intrigue where you're like, okay, I want to click on this and find out. And then you're hearing their vocal inflections, you're hearing their heart. And so, yeah, I love that idea. And so I've been trying to start applying that. And yeah, that's really good. So you guys take that advice.
And people, they're on Instagram, they want to connect.
Definitely.
So remember that people are on that platform because they want to connect. That's what social media is. And so just to take the weirdness out of it and the fear, just think to yourself, they're looking to connect with people like you.
Yeah.
And so you're just making that initial contact. And if they don't respond, then they're not to be in your tribe anyways. It's not a rejection. It's not about you. It's just, it's not in your space at that moment. And don't take it personal. It's not personal.
Yeah, so good. I love that. All right. So I think Addie clarified her question and she said, for me personally, sorry for the confusion.
Yeah.
So yeah, asking for herself personally how to figure out which business venture to go about.
Yes. Okay. So it's important if are we talking network marketing? Are we talking Etsy? What vein?
Generally, I mean, you can clarify,
okay.
But I'm guessing she just means generally, like there's lots of so many different possibilities. How do you even go about writing? Yeah.
Okay. So I think this is a great question. And because if you're going to be putting your efforts into something and building something, it needs to be something that you're passionate about, something that has always been of interest to you, or it has caught your attention. A lot of times is the way that God is directing you in, the dreams and the passions in your heart. If there's something that you are not interested in, then I would absolutely say jumping in a business about it would probably not make sense. For me, I've always been interested in health and taking care of myself. Even before it was ever a business, I always was asking people, what do you do? What kind of vitamins? How do you get your energy? How do you make your hair grow? Where do you work out? It was just a natural thing for me. And so I knew that I was passionate about that already. and then with people, because there's some things like blogs, you're not connecting with people necessarily and talking, face to face, or Etsy, you're selling things. But for me in network marketing, I love people. So I knew that network marketing, because I love to be around people, and stay in that place, I knew that network marketing was a community that had tons of people. And so that directed me in that direction. And so I would just say, really take time and pray, like get away. Jesus pulled himself away, and he went away and he prayed and he heard what his dad told him. And God speaks to us that way now. And so in that, don't just go into it blindly. Take time and seek God on, okay, what is the direction? And he's faithful. He's going to answer you. And if there's somebody in your life that's doing a business and you are loving the community and the encouragement and the fun that they're having, and you are thinking, wow, I really want to be part of it. It may be something that you've never thought about, but God's drawing you in through the community and the people that he wants you to align with, because the bigger picture is, in the end, it's who you're aligned with that your destiny is going to manifest. And so in that, it's the bigger picture. So I would say that either your passion, and if you don't have a passion yet, look for the people you want to connect with and aspire to be like, and know that through that, if they're God loving kingdom people in a kingdom business, they're going to help foster, and that life and identity inside of you is going to be awakened through the community that you're around, and you're going to find yourself really coming alive to a full place that you never maybe imagined, because he says, I can do more than you can ever think or imagine in Ephesians. And so does that help, Addie?
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I'll let her answer, but I'm just over here like, woo, that's awesome. So good. Okay, so Alex says, what do you do when your platforms become too much for you, or even too little? What do you do to step back and reevaluate and keep your heart in the right place?
That's a good question. Always, first and foremost, the word of God says, seek my kingdom first and his righteousness, right? And everything else will be added onto that. So it's very important in keeping your time and relationship with the Lord first, that nothing becomes an idol in your life more important, that it's drawing your attention away more than your first love with him. And that's really important, because what happens if that does begin to happen is it pulls away from your relationship and the intimacy with God, and then it starts to become not peaceful, and it starts to become striving and overwhelming. And so in that place, just taking a step back and really reevaluating what you're doing. And the other thing is putting boundaries in your life. And so if your hours are from 9 to 5, that's when you're answering your emails, your blogs, that's when you're answering your text messages, then keep it that. For me, I pick days. It's like, this day I focus on discipleship with people. This day I'm focusing on this part of my business. This day I'm answering emails. And that's really helped in keeping things in order and allowing myself to not get overwhelmed, because that's never a good place, and it just causes stress and anxiety. So staying in check with the Lord in your relationship is very important. And if there, so that's if it's too, if it's getting too much, and if it's too little, and you're stressing out, and you're getting very anxious, and why isn't this changing? I remember that God really spoke this to my heart, because I've been doing this business for 7 years, and Ignited Hearts has been going for probably, 10 years. And so in it, he spoke to my heart. I care more about your heart and your character than any influence or platform. And in that, God in a moment can open up any door, but he knows what is in us, and he knows the length of time it takes to create the character in us, so that we can stand firm in who we are, so that when the success comes, it doesn't overtake you. And that was a real grace moment for me. And it really helped me to just reevaluate and step back and be like, okay, God knows the big picture. I'm going to stay faithful with little, and I'm going to keep on persevering with what he showed me. And I'm going to trust that as he develops my character in me with my partnership, that he's going to open up the doors and make the platform bigger when it's time, and I can sustain that place in my heart, and not, it won't destroy me, because as we know, fame, fortune, platform, influence can destroy people if their character isn't in check, and they become prideful, or they become, prideful, arrogant, lovers of money, those kind of things. So it's more important for you to allow the timing to happen with the Lord and just trust him, and you do your part with seeking him.
Yeah, that's so good. I love that. And that's very similar to what the Lord spoke to me when I started Crown of Beauty all those years ago, because it was the same thing. I was like, why isn't this going faster? Why is everything taking so long? And he reminded me of David and how he was anointed and set apart. But he didn't arrive at the palace right away. He had a whole process that he had to go through. And when he was out in the fields, when he was out worshiping and just being faithful with the sheep that God had given him and just stewarding that, he wrote even in Psalms, my boundary lines have fallen for me in pleasant places. Like, he understood that there was a purpose in the season that he was in. And obviously he did a great job with that, because we see he killed the lion and the bear. Like, he was on top of it, and he wasn't just moping away like, oh man, if only I had more sheep to take care of. Why do I only have this many? Like, he was very much just a good steward of what he was given. And so I think that oftentimes if we ever get frustrated with things taking longer, or not maybe having as many followers as fast, it always goes back to exactly what Danielle said, and just trusting that there's a much bigger picture, there's a much bigger process, and the most important thing to God is our hearts and what's happening in that. And so, yeah, that's awesome. So good. Cool. All right. Let me see. There was another question. I think, where'd it go? Okay, this one's from Brooklyn. She says, how do you connect with genuine without coming across as fake?
So in connecting with people, keeping in mind that you are serving them. And, in that, if you keep in the place, how can you help that person? How can you serve that person to make their life better? You will not come across as a salesperson. And if you keep them first and not your interest, like, I got to make $10, or I got to make $50, or double PIBs, or, I have to sell this, then it doesn't become awkward. It stays authentic. And so when I'm meeting with somebody, or I'm talking with someone, it's important that you truly want to talk with them for an authentic reason, that you want to get to know them and help them. What gift do you have to give as your service in your business to help bring their life to a better place? And in that, it's very easy. And that's a great question, because it's easy to get wrapped up in, if you're selling something or you're promoting something, and that becomes the forethought. But if you switch it and you think about, how can I help and serve this person? Just like Jesus, he came as a servant. And how can I wash that person's feet through this? Then it will absolutely keep you from coming across as not authentic. And so you really have to ask yourself, why are you doing this? What are you doing it for? And just reevaluate that, because nobody wants to be sold anything to. Like, if someone comes to sell something to me, I don't like it. I shut down really quick. And so so in that, just remember, nobody wants to be sold anything to. They really want genuine, authentic, and they want to feel safe in that conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. That's good. I love that. So Instagram is showing me that we only have 1 minute and 47 seconds. So I think it's probably going to cut us. Let's see. I'm trying to decide what we should do. Because we would love to take more questions, but I was also recording this, so I feel like if we get back on, it might remove this recording. So guys, I'm so sorry, but I feel like we're probably going to have to wrap it up here. But we would more Instagram lives again in the future. And so if you guys are interested in that, let me know, send me messages. And again, if you're signed up for my email list, then you'll be notified the next time that we do this, because I feel like you guys have more questions. And so I hate to cut it short, but that's just the way technology is today.
And Livy, if you, in your comments or whatever, my website is danielleroback.org. And so you can email me there if you have questions that maybe you would like me to answer, and I would be happy to do that.
Yeah, that's perfect. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for joining in. Thank you again, Danielle, for chatting with us. And yeah, loved all your questions, guys. You guys are amazing. I'll be announcing her in my email, so make sure you're subscribed to that. I'll let you guys know who won from today's little Q&A, and we will be in touch with all of you again soon.